Welcome to a very special episode of the SBS Podcast where we have the one and only Russ Stong joining the boys on the show. We cover a whole lot, starting with a recap of the solid win over USC at the Galen Center Tuesday night, a very spirited debate over UCLA's top 10 basketball players of this century. We obviously asked Russ how he became the fan favorite he did, despite being teammates with guys like Jaime Jaquez, and a whole lot more. Funny stories, good banter, coming your way next on the SBS Podcast. We are live on the SBS Podcast with the one and only Russ Stong, boys. Let's give it up for Russ for coming on the show as our first ever basketball guest. Welcome.
Let's go. Thanks for having me, boys. I love it.
Dude, I had no idea that you were at the SBS football watch party that we had back in August and that this is how this all started.
It was electric. I have to be part of the, secret Bruins society.
Hell yeah. I love that. And dude, right off the bat, because I've never gotten answers on it, where did We Want Russell start, and how did your team celebrity status, that kind of cult following you had, how did that shit start?
Yeah, I mean, that's still a great question, great mystery of Pauley Pavilion. I honestly can't point and tell you, how it all started, because I promise I didn't go to the den and say, cheer for me, this, and that. I want to say I have a little theory, because I was actually in Lambda as a frat, and my boys, their senior year, they started popping out to all the games, and I'm sure that they got a little rowdy one of the games.
They were plants.
Started chanting for me. We're up by 30, get me in there. But yeah, I mean, hearing it the first time was pretty nuts. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely added some pressure for sure, but I loved every second of it.
It was such a funny concept because that was one of the best UCLA basketball teams of the 21st century, and you can tell your kids I was the fan favorite on a team with Jaime Jaquez.
Yeah. No, that was definitely a running joke, because I was competing with Tiger for second favorite on the squad, so just to be even in the conversation with those guys, still being a part of that great team, however I can get it done, even though last on the bench, I can always say, you didn't have the crowd chanting for you. So
I think the best part about it was every time you got in the game, it just felt like everyone was also trying to get you the ball. You were trying to get every touch, every shot. It was sweet.
No, yeah. I mean, like I said, that team in general was something special. And I think that's really what made us different, is we loved every guy from, the first guy playing all the minutes to, me sitting at the end of the bench. We respected each other on and off the court. We were always happy, looking for each other's success. And even Coach Cronin ran a couple plays for me, so it's nice.
Oh, yeah. Man of the people, dude. So Russ, what are you up to these days, man? Sounds like is it Philly?
Yeah, so I say Philly. I'm right outside Philly, 10 minutes. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for the people that are familiar with the area. But yeah, I have a great opportunity out here. I was born and raised in LA, obviously went to UCLA for 6 years. So, I got my time in LA on the West Coast. I think for my development, it was best that, I tried this other side, experienced the cold a little bit, and my job opportunity is the best. I work in venture capital and private equity investment. It's pretty unique because I get to work in both sides. I work with a company called Holman Automotive. They're really known for retail, selling cars, but also everything that has to do with the life cycle of a vehicle, whether it's, maintenance, financing, insurance. They're a private company, still family owned by the Holman family. So not a lot of people know about them, but they're still a $9 billion company with 9,000 employees.
Wow.
But yeah, I work for their investment branch now, so that's what I'm doing out here.
Well, people are going to know about them now because you're on the biggest platform in UCLA sports history.
Exactly. I mean, I had to take the opportunity to promote Holman.
You ever pull out? I was just going to ask, you ever pull out the Final Four card in any business meetings?
I honestly let my colleagues do it for me, because especially on the East Coast, I mean, California is this magical land, and then when you tack on UCLA on top of that, there's a lot of lore that goes into it. So again, my colleagues will be the first one to be like, yeah, you see this guy right here. He might only be an analyst, but he played in the Final Four.
Hell yeah.
Well, dude, you've also just got like the most like UCLA hair. So like if you're in Philly for the West Coast, you're like, of course this dude was on a Final Four Bruin basketball team. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Any Bruins out in Philly? Any following? Any contingency?
Yeah. I'm actually actively trying to connect more with our alumni networks out here. So I've done a few things because like when Bruins played at MSG, I try to connect with the New York alumni. And also when they played against Maryland, I was in contact with a few people in the DC network. Philly, I'm still working on, but my managing director and one of the main reasons I actually got the job that I'm at now is because he's a UCLA alumni.
There you go.
So, still trying to run strong, but I can definitely use some help if any East Coast Bruins want to connect. I'm definitely open.
Russ, I was about to say, I'm just going to make this pitch live. Let's start a Philly SPS chapter. I'll send you some fucking flags. Hell yeah.
Hey, here we go. Yeah. No, you don't understand. Like, I'm fully down for that. Anything for the Secret Bruin Society.
We'll take this offline and talk business. What's it like watching the Bruins on the East Coast? Has it become like kind of a pain to like follow them? Because like, dude, we're starting at like what? We had 8 p.m. in Seattle.
Late
like,
night.
Has it
Tomorrow's
been
10:30?
Yeah. Like, what's it been like?
So it's kind of a double-edged sword. During the week, I'm in my little routine. I really just work, go to the gym. Try to go to bed at a decent hour. When the Bruins are on, I'm not gonna lie, earlier in the season, I'm not stressing too hard about watching. But
you're not staying up till 1 a.m. for Prairie View A&M. You know what? Get off my podcast. I want real fans on here.
Which is actually crazy because the one game I had a hunch. I was like, all right, my boy Jack Seiler, he's gonna go in this game. He's gonna get a bucket. So I stayed up for that one and I saw it live.
That's sick.
There you go.
Yeah, but now that the Bruins are in the Big Ten, like it feels like every game is, the biggest game of the year. So I've been staying up. I've been watching. But yeah, the double-edged sword is, weekdays it's kind of whatever. But then on the weekends, I can go out and I'll be out in Philly and I'll be watching a live UCLA game. That never happens. Like you're having fun with the boys and the Bruins are, live playing basketball. It doesn't really get much better than that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, speaking of Big Ten basketball, I figure let's dive into the USC game. I think this might have been the Bruins' most like well-rounded win because A, you're on the road, but B, if you look at the stat sheet, aside from like the Sebastian Mack dagger, there wasn't like anybody that like carried us this game. It was just like 4 or 5 really solid performances. I want to say like 4 Bruins were in double figures.
Sounds about right. I mean, anytime you can go in there and beat the Trojans is always a great day. So we'll start with that.
Yeah.
And even on the best teams that I was on, we would struggle against USC, unfortunately, especially at the Galen Center.
Yep.
Fun fact, never won there.
Really?
Jeez, dang.
You could have withheld that.
So, I mean, I don't know if we want to include that part.
To that point, it's like this is SC's Super Bowl in basketball. Right. Like this is the one game per year where that arena isn't like bleeding money. So like you're getting their best.
I mean, if I'm being real, every game for visiting teams or any team that we're playing against, like that's their Super Bowl. At the end of the day, like UCLA is coming in, especially now with the Big Ten, like. Teams that we don't usually play are gonna have even bigger targets on our back. But SC, I mean, the game can go either way. Rivalry games, it doesn't matter if UCLA is number 1 in the country and SC is last in the country. It's always going to be a bloodbath, and rivalry games go either way. We even see it in football. Like we're not always as good as them, but we happen to compete on that day. So. I'm happy the Bruins got it done, and it seems like Adai Mara's breaking out a little bit, so I'm happy for him too.
I mean, yeah. How about game balls? I think it's actually a pretty fun game to do game balls. Kyle, I think we started with you last time. I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't have this in the notes, but just ball knowledge. Where's it going?
That is on the spot. I mean, Adai Mara is obviously a very easy pick. I'm gonna go Dylan Andrews. I mean, another sneaky game with 6 assists. I mean, he's really turned the corner. We've talked about. Sort of his early season, sort of struggles just seemed a little more timid towards the beginning of the season. And, He just seems very active. Much quicker on his feet, running the point. 12 points, 4 for 9, 2 for 5 from 3. And the team as a whole from the free throw line shot 80%. 20 for 25 from free throws. So DA, just fired up to continue to see that.
I like that pick.
One turnover.
That's a great pick.
Yeah,
I like that pick, especially like you said. He's been struggling a little bit with his confidence. It seems like so to really see him out there with a tight handle. He was taking control of the game, and I know he's really getting to his shot because he'll hit threes. Like when we would play together in practice, he would always be killing. Having to play behind Tiger, it's a little tough to get some minutes, but yeah, when he gets to a spot, that mid range is automatic, and if he can get the three going, it's pretty much wraps. And he's a great player.
I think what's opening up his game a little bit is having some of that dynamic of the pick and roll with the Daimara. Like you would see him with that with the Dembona. He could play off the pick and roll, and he could get to that mid range, or he could throw a lob. And I think he was sort of missing that early in the season, and now you've seen the guy, get a couple different lobs, couple for a finish, couple for a slam. So I think he's benefiting a ton from that.
Well, Kyle, that's a super good point, dude, because I feel like Dylan's he hasn't had like an explosion, but just he's pulled himself out clearly these last 4 games from that from that dry spell he was having. That's kind of happened simultaneously with the rise of a Daimara. So
exactly.
Yeah, so I think that speaks for itself. And then one last thing, my favorite stat line from DA was, you'd like to have 0, but he only had 1 turnover. Whereas early on, early in the season, he was a turnover machine. So love to see him turn it around. My game ball, I'm gonna go Kobe Johnson.
Okay.
Homecoming Kobe Johnson.
Yeah.
You know who didn't like Kobe Johnson was Bill Raftery on the broadcast. Oh my God. Like, live a little bit, because Johnson was like blowing kisses after every bucket, and then he shushed him, and he goes, "Oh well, it's a little early."
Yeah, it's a little early.
It's like, take a seat, Bill. Like, let the young men play and have some fun.
Kobe Johnson does everything that doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's a very Cronin-esque player in the way he plays super hard. Is willing to do those little things. Doesn't necessarily have to be the leading scorer or anything like that to really make a mark on a game. He can get a big steal, get a big rebound, or if the team needs him to, he'll hit a big shot at the end of the shot clock and get the energy going by shushing his previous
did hit a big
squad.
Hit a big 3 in the second half.
Yes.
Yeah, and trust me, he hit a few on us too a couple times. So I know how it can be, and he's a great player, and it's been an honor to get to know him too. Just even though he was a Trojan, he's definitely a Bruin at heart for sure.
Keon, your turn, buddy.
It's hard for me not to say Sebastian Mack. Really clutch 3-pointer to ice the game, more or less, right?
I thought we said we were referring to him as Bass from now on.
Sorry, Bass Mack.
That was Baz.
Is it Baz?
Yeah, it's with a Z.
Wow,
okay.
I was
going to say Russ could correct.
I'm trying to sound like I really know the team well, and I just I botched the nickname.
Yeah, kind of backfired. Backfired a little bit.
Yeah,
go on.
But yeah, Baz, big 3, obviously. But aside from that, he had 12 points throughout the 14 points.
14.
And 4 for 4 on the free throw line. Like I think Kyle mentioned earlier, it's big to have to you make your free throws, especially in a tight game like this, right? And we've had the boys have been having some struggles from the free throw line earlier in the season. So conference plays when you got to make your free throws. USC didn't make their free throws, right? So it's important that Baz made his, and obviously the 3-pointer to ice it.
Mr. Stong, on the spot, dude. Game ball.
Yeah. I might have to take one out of left field here.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Trent Perry.
All right.
Dude, great.
Wow. I was just about to give him his flowers.
Yeah, because I've been watching him because he's a local guy from Harvard Westlake, and I went to Crespi High School. So our schools are some rivals. Harvard Westlake's pretty dominant at this point.
I did not know you were dude. I went to St. Francis. I don't even know if we still play Crespi in basketball, but
the Mission League's all messed up now.
Yeah,
but
fuck. Whatever.
Yeah, I played St. Francis when I was there.
Nice.
So that's what matters. But yeah, what I was gonna say is, I've been watching Trent Perry because I was watching Crespi, and he always plays the game the right way. He always does what coaches want him to do. He comes from a great program under Coach Rabibo. So he comes from a very structured, this is how you play basketball, and he plays it the right way. He's got his head screwed on straight. And I will say he shot the right shots. They just didn't necessarily go in against SC, but he kept his head up, and I was watching him help side. He's one of those guys where I kind of, lock in and watch him because I know he is so well coached, and I know he's going to listen to what Cronin is telling him to do. So I'll be watching him on defensive possessions. He's in help side. He's making the rotations he needs to make. And, he's always there to try to take a charge. And even when shots aren't going in, he finds ways to affect the game. And I hope he just keeps doing his thing because he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, he was 5 for 5 from the free throw line.
Yeah, all great game balls. I think there were no misses there. We didn't talk much about Mara.
We could go on and on about Mara. Obviously, T-Bill is one of my favorite players, if I'm going to be honest. He's another guy that listens, plays hard. He's super tough. And I think it's honestly great that Adai has been able to get these minutes under his belt, get his conditioning, get his confidence. And I think it'll be pretty interesting in how Coach sort of moves forward as T-Bill comes back. I'd like to see a two-man or two big men. My only worry there is T-Bill's got to stay in front of these quicker fours. Because he is a matchup problem, for the other team, but he's also a matchup problem for ourselves sometimes. So it's like, does he play the 4? Does he guard the 5? Is he quick enough? He's definitely tough enough, and he's going to try hard, and he can score enough. But as we all know, Cronin's a big defensive guy. So
let's say that Mick makes the decision to go with two big men. Who then sits in that scenario? What's the starting lineup with Bilodeau?
Because we're not even talking about E-Day.
Right. Yeah, E-Day is like you got to keep him in there. Yeah,
he was going crazy. I'm happy for him too because first time I met E-Day was I was still in Westwood for summer, and they started coming in, for these runs, and I see this dude, I've been following, part of Mental Westwood. I knew who was coming in, but I saw him come in and he had like this different energy about him, coming from Oklahoma State. I think he's originally from Florida. And, he kind of brought this swagger into the gym where, he didn't really have to say anything, but you kind of just knew he was like, he got that dog. And we started playing. I swear games were to like 12 ones and twos, I think. I swear he had like 9 out of the 12, and he was cooking like, well, he wasn't cooking Dave, but David Singleton was at the runs. Like we had some alumni there too, so it wasn't just some scrubs or like just the freshmen that were there, the transfers. And I knew from then on, like, because he was scoring at all 3 levels. His pull up was on. He was getting to the rim, hitting threes, and he sort of struggled from the different levels at the beginning of the year, but I always believed he had it in him because I saw it firsthand. So I'm happy that's coming out too.
If you had to pick, anybody that's on the team right now that's most NBA ready, I would think most would pick Eric Daly. It's funny you mentioned David Singleton. We got David Singleton, assuming everything stays according to schedule. If it doesn't, we can just cancel this out. We got David coming on the show on Monday night, is it?
Monday.
For next week's episode.
Yeah, Monday night.
Yeah. Russ, what's David like? What should we be prepared for? Aside from him being just an outstanding young gentleman.
What should we tell him?
No, he's a great guy. Well, trying to think of like some juicy questions you could ask him. You could ask him.
Getting my notepad.
Or rather, you should tell him that I'm better at Super Smash Bros. Than him. That'll definitely set him off.
Got it.
Tell him I'm also better at 2K than him. That'll also set him. Dave's the best, bro. He's one of my best friends for sure. And, obviously we're not super close geographically anymore, but actually what I do out here too is, whenever any of the guys come to play, like whether I have a rule for myself, if it's within like a 2.5 hour radius, I travel. So like when Dave came up and played Long Island, I saw him. When Jaime came up and played the Nets, I went and saw him. I get to go to a bunch of the Sixers games because I happen to be, neighbors with Adem Bona, pretty much.
Oh, get
He
out.
lives, like down the street.
Okay, speaking of Adem Bona, he blocked multiple LeBron Jameses last night, which was incredible.
Yeah, no, that, and I'm not gonna lie, that was because I was lucky enough to go to that game last night, and that was probably the most energy in Wells Fargo there's been all season. You know, traffic getting in there. The Eagles were there because they just advanced to the Super Bowl, so they were ringing the bell. Like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith were all there. So DeJean, the dog. So
yeah,
everybody was there. And yeah, just seeing Bona compete. I mean, the Sixers had everybody out. They had Embiid out, Paul George, KJ Martin, Caleb Martin. So I mean, Bona got the call up, and like you said, he got to block the father and the son. It's got to be a stat.
No, it is
it's gotta be a record.
I can't. So here's two fun UCLA stats for you. Adem Bona is the only player in NBA history to block a father-son duo in the same game. The second one, there's one player in NBA history to go. Is it 5-0? 5-0 against LeBron James. Guess who it is?
5-0 against LeBron. I have no clue.
TJ Leaf.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
a pull. No, that's another dude I got to see play in high school, and he went off for like 40. I watched him play against Sierra Canyon, and this was like when Sierra Canyon was peak. You know, they had Cody Riley, Marvin Bagley, Remy Martin, Adam Seiko, like nice squad. And TJ Leaf, walked in with Foothill Christian, really just himself. And he went off for 40, scoring at all three levels. And I knew he was, going to the NBA. I saw he split a trap on a screen. Mind you, as you guys know, he's like 6'10", 6'9", 6'10". Splits the screen and then proceeded to reverse dunk on somebody. And I was like, all right.
With the cleanest comb over you've ever seen in your life. Like he was like perfectly gelled, and this guy's just cooking people. You know what's funny? You could argue, am I out of place for saying this, that he's arguably top 10 UCLA player in the 21st century? That's a lot of good guys.
That's a lot of juice. But...
Is he on the fringe there? Top 10?
We can run it right now because I'm thinking of like 6 or 7 that are better for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Russ, you start first. And I'll chime in.
This is no order. Yeah. This is just no order at all. Like just coming to my
only UCLA career.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Only UCLA career.
Let's go.
I mean, Jaime's up there.
Yep.
Obviously, Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, Aaron Aflalo.
Yep.
Lonzo Ball, teammate.
Oh, shit, Lonzo.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball. I was gonna try to save Lonzo for a little later.
Okay.
So how many is that? That's 6,
5. That's 5.
6. Oh.
What? How about Mbah Mute?
That was my next chime in was Mbah Mute, but we kind of listed the automatic shoo-ins quicker than I thought, and my TJ Leaf is kind of hanging.
Yeah, he is hanging.
Let's keep going.
I got to 6 or 7.
We're definitely missing some big ones.
Welsh is close.
He is close.
T. Welsh is close.
That's he's top 10. I'm sorry.
As a 4-year,
he's a 4-year. He is top 10.
That mid-range shot from T. Welsh,
the most automatic 18-footer of all time.
I need some rosters because I'm not gonna lie.
What do we think about Josh Shipp?
No, I love Josh Shipp, but he was just too streaky. Jason Capono probably should be on there, like 2002 or something. We haven't said Darren Collison yet.
Darren Collison, either of the Holiday brothers.
I would say Aaron over Drew, but I still would struggle to put Aaron in top 10. What are we at now?
Trevor Ariza.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I don't think TJ Leaf cuts this list, man.
God damn it.
That's close though. It was closer than I thought.
Matt Barnes.
I don't even
Matt Barnes. Yeah, Matt Barnes.
I really just want to be right for the sake of being right. I don't even fully believe in what I'm saying.
Baron Davis.
I love the banter, bro. I love the banter because TJ Leaf was a great player too. So
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. We're talking about Bruins here.
Yeah,
right.
And also, TJ is a adamant follower of SBS. He doesn't like or comment or anything, but he's always viewing the story, so he knows that the content is out.
Then he's top 10.
TJ is top 10.
Hell yeah! I've been trying to get him on. I'm still waiting for that. Yes.
Well, now maybe he has something to prove. So
Well, I'm kind of liking this on the fly tempo, so we're gonna switch some quick hitters for you, Russ.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite teammate to hang out with during your time at UCLA?
All right, well, this one's tough because I hung out with everybody and I loved hanging out with everybody. So I'll just shout out.
He's media trained.
Yeah, and also, well, I haven't shouted out one of my other fellow walk-ons, Logan Cremonesi, yet, and he's still one of my best friends. I gave everybody else some love, so I'm choosing Logan Cremonesi.
I was hoping. Do you remember Isaac Wolf? You guys were on the same teams, right? I was hoping you'd say.
Oh yeah, we're
Isaac
dogs.
Wolf.
Yeah.
He's more of a, you know, I almost called him my dad.
Older brother.
He's a mentor to me. You know, I look up to Isaac, and he showed me the way of the walk-on, so I owe a lot to him.
I love it. He was one of the patented shooting the guns in the air when you guys hit a 3 or whatever the fuck you were doing. That's like definitely like that's a GIF somewhere now, like a grainy GIF.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Next one, favorite moment inside Poly Pavilion.
Hitting the 3, of course.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
That has to be.
That has to.
So if you could play one-on-one against any UCLA legend, who would you pick?
Am I trying to win?
You don't. It's not like your life's at stake, but like, don't just get blown out.
Yeah, you want to. Like you don't want to take Kareem in his prime one-on-one.
Yeah, well, I mean that's probably what I was gonna say. I was like gonna say either R.I.P. Bill Walton or somebody like that. I mean, shit. Let's be real. A lot of these guys are gonna blow me out. I don't know why, but I think Bryce Alford's coming in my head.
Ooh, that would be
wow.
I think it would be a shootout.
Yeah,
yeah,
That'd be a shootout.
Let the white boys go at it, and let's see how it goes.
That would be the greatest white boy basketball one-on-one of all time. Russell Stong versus Bryce Alford. I'll make T-shirts for that.
We were just talking about Isaac Wolf, his brother, Alec Wolf. I've met him, didn't get to play with him unfortunately, but he still goes down in walk-on history because I don't know if you guys know this story. If you do, you have like elite UCLA ball knowledge. USC, UCLA was playing USC. I forget what year it was. Must have been like 2017 or 16. It was like the year before I got there. And this was like, 3 minutes left in the first half or something. Alec Wolf checks into the game. He goes in. He's a walk-on, mind you. Like, didn't play like the previous 6 or 7 games. Like, was riding the bench like a walk-on. Coach Alford calls him in. He's so frustrated. They're down by like 10. Alec Wolf comes in the game, bangs a 3. Coach calls timeout. And coach calls timeout, sits him on the bench the rest of the game. And I'm pretty sure UCLA ended up winning. But it was just like that guy was always ready to play. And he apparently like was one of the best scorers like on our team. And I never got to see it in action, but Wolf told me about it a lot. So if I could choose somebody else, maybe I'd go walk-on against Alec Wolf too.
Bryce Alford or Alec Wolf. Last time I saw Alec Wolf was at this past Halloween. I ran into him at a Halloween house party in Venice. Good dude.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Were you there?
I was there with you.
Alec
that's right. We did run into
that guy's fucking awesome. All right. I'll do the next one. Favorite away Pac-12 arena to play in?
I'll give you 3. Arizona, Oregon, and Utah.
So you like the environments?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not to say that I like playing away more than at home.
Yeah.
But there is just something about, going in there, especially as UCLA.
Yeah.
And, the walk-ons always get heckled a little bit more than others. Especially when you're sitting there all game next to the student section. So, but I love it. I love the banter. I love the students, showing their passion, even though they're taking it out on me. It's just something about it when you go, especially into like McHale and, hold them to their least amount of points in the arena. Like we take a lot of pride in that. So,
did you ever have a moment, or any of the other walk-ons have a moment where you had to turn around and say something to a fan or a student? Like, are you guys like? I know it's probably like strictly forbidden for you guys to like get into fucking chirping matches with students, but did that ever happen? Any good exchanges?
Yeah. I mean, there's always eye contact or like, we'll hit a 3 and we're doing celebrations at the crowd. there was a time where I would tell myself, you can't be doing that. You can't, you represent UCLA. But, as you sort of mature, you get like little subtle ways where it's not like, so obvious that one, the ref is going to see it, or like security or Coach Cronin, God forbid. Hopefully he's not listening, Coach. I would never interact with the crowd. But, you give little glances here and there, little celebrations, because it's all part of the fun. I mean, at the end of the day, the crowd knows it's for fun. At least, hopefully, they do. And
Yeah.
it's all part of the game.
I'll take this last one because I'm a South Campus guy. Like, I think Russ is going to answer.
You're a South Campus.
But South Campus or North Campus?
You already know. I'm going with the South Campus. I will say I ended up getting so I was a mechanical engineer, so I got to go South Campus. And I picked up biz econ, and I don't know, because I heard it was transitioning from north to south. I don't know if that's correct.
They're flipping
Really?
I think they did. They call it a STEM now.
Yeah.
It's in the STEM category.
I was gonna say I was split, but at the end of the day, I got to go South Campus for sure.
Yeah.
I feel personally betrayed as I'm a sports walk-on myself. I was a track walk-on, and I feel like the only acceptable answers for sports walk-ons are like poli-sci, geography.
saw all the athlete backpacks walking around North Campus all the time.
The first thing you do to make sure your class was like easy, just you sit down first day of class, look around, see how many like football dudes there are. I'm chilling.
Backpacks.
Just got to look at the front. Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, that's why South Campus got to get some love, bro. Because I was one of the only special backpacks coming in, but I will give it to North Campus. It's definitely a lot more fun to, spend your time, go to the sculpture garden, walk around Bunch Hall or something like that. But I don't know. South Campus, we got the inverted fountain.
You are romanticizing North Campus. Bunch Hall was fucking hell on earth, and I will never go back to Bunch Hall.
Did you see the video? Was that where the video of the guy jumping off what's the building?
With the tree?
With the tree.
Was that Bunch? Okay, that was Bunch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That guy could have died.
Dude, I just first of all, that video was insane. Second, I hate that building so much. Like, those trees were so weird and random. They weren't even like, it was like a garden. It was like big weeds coming through the building. I would like walk out of like a Chicano studies with like a C-, and then I'd see these trees and I'm like, I want to graduate, get the fuck out of here.
Really? I love the trees. Like, I had a few discussions in Bunch, and that's sort of, my North Campus, and going all the way to public affairs sometimes.
Dude, that should have been a question. Been like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Bunch trees.
I was just about to say, who knew we'd be debating the Bunch Hall trees on this episode?
Listen, for me and Russ, going, no disrespect to a Chicano studies class, but going from a mechanical engineering, or I had these high level statistics classes, going to North Campus was kind of a treat.
All right.
And getting a class in there was kind of a. I took a history of Beatles class one time in North Campus.
Everybody wanted to take that dumb-ass Beatles class.
That sounds like somebody who never got into the dumb-ass Beatles class.
I didn't. All right, switching gears, wrapping things up, because UCLA, tonight, when this airs, is this the biggest game of the season so far? I feel like we say this just about every time. Yeah. Is Oregon at home tonight the biggest game of the season so far?
Yeah, now, I guess, right? With the circumstances of the 4-game win streak and all that, yeah.
Selfishly, it is for me, because I can't make it. So if they beat Oregon, the Michigan State game next Tuesday that I can make is going to be like shut down the town.
That's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
That is going to be nuts.
How are we feeling about this matchup, the rematch?
Yeah, I think, you said it, the rematch, Oregon. I mean, there's already a sort of rivalry that we don't talk about too much, because UCLA's been a little consumed with, USC, Arizona, Gonzaga. Oregon's right there with them, if I'm going to be honest.
Facts.
Especially, Cronin, Dana Altman, they kind of got a little beef going on. So I think Oregon's going to come out there after already taking the L in Eugene. They're not going to try to let that happen again. So all I got to say is the Bruins better come out ready, and we tend to struggle guarding the three-point line, especially in poly. Teams somehow just always have their best shooting.
Wisconsin lit it up.
Exactly. So I think the biggest thing is going to be limiting their transition, limiting threes, and just playing harder than them.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's going to be a pretty dang good crowd as well. So
I would hope this would sell out, right? Is it not going to sell out?
7 p.m. right Thursday night, like
that's
7:30.
Yeah.
You can get that extra 30-minute buffer.
I think we might get clowned on Twitter if we don't sell that one out. To be honest.
Yeah, shit. We just got to post this podcast, tell people to come,
dude. Honestly, facts. No, I can't wait to. Because I'm going to post tomorrow morning, Thursday. Because we haven't told anybody that we're doing a guest this week. Doing just the Russell Stong face for the episode number whatever is going to be so sick, and the responses are going to be great. I'll send them to you, Russ.
All right, yeah, that's what's up. I'll definitely throw it on my story too.
Oh, we love that. Hell yeah.
Is Bilodeau? Do we have any update? He practiced today. I think that'll be a big. I think he was pretty important in that first win, especially his offensive production. Yeah, and he's an Oregon kid, right? Or he's a Pacific Northwest
Washington kid.
Washington
kid went to Oregon State though, so he was in a rivalry with Oregon. So he's played him, familiar with Oregon, familiar with Dane Altman. But I don't know. Oregon is coming off a loss against Minnesota, which is a surprising one this weekend. So
it's surprising because you look at their ranking and they're still 7th.
Yeah, they barely drop any time they lose.
I don't know what the Oregon effect is, but they are drop proof in the AP rankings. Nothing happens.
Yeah,
to them
that's
when they lose.
true.
Yet they bounce UCLA whenever they can. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, they hate.
We'll drop 7 spots. Yeah, we'll drop 7 spots after one loss.
Yeah, no, totally. But I will say in Oregon's defense, apparently Minnesota has one of the hardest gyms to play in. That's just what I hear.
Really? Altitude?
I really don't know why. I really don't know why. It's supposed to get loud. I don't know what else you can really do in Minnesota.
Dude, so Keon was snickering in the back because I just suggested possibly there was altitude when it's in Minnesota. So that was pretty stupid.
It's a good point to Russ's point. There's nothing else to do. My girlfriend's from Minnesota. She told me it was negative 18 degrees there this last week. So,
dude, it's
what else are you gonna go do?
It's not even
go to the basketball game.
It's not even a strong fan base. It's people seeking shelter.
Yeah, it's just can I get warm, please? Forget the free shirts at the game. Just free hot coffee.
Yeah.
Well,
Russ, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. This has been a blast, and I'm sure it will not be the last time. Stoked for tonight's game against the Ducks, and we look forward to catching you Monday night with David Singleton previewing the Spartans. So we'll catch you then. Go Bruins.
Go Bruins.
Hell yeah.
Go Bruins.